Most designers think you need the premium version of Elementor or some expensive add-ons to create a good design for your website, but in this video I'm going to show you how to design exactly this landing page using the free version of Elementor only. We're going to be designing this landing page for a renovation website, but if you want to design it for your agency, for other type of websites, you can also follow along with this tutorial. And without wasting time, let's start designing this landing page. So the first thing we need to do is log into our WordPress admin area, and we're going to come to pages and select add page. We're going to give our page a title, which is going to be landing page. And what I want to do now is to come to templates and change the template to Elementor full width, and we can just publish this page. Now that the page has been published, we can click on this blue button that says edit with Elementor. So now we're going to start with the hero section, and this is the first thing the user is going to see when they visit your landing page. So add a new container by clicking on this plus icon, and we're going to click on Flexbox and choose this first container. Now come to layouts, and under justify contents, we're going to select center, and also we're going to align this to the center. And lastly, under minimum height, we want to change this from px to vh and want to put in 100 here. This is going to ensure that the section takes up the full height of our screen, and it's going to give us that immersive and the cinematic feel. Alright, for the background, we're going to come to style. Another background, we're going to click on this icon, and we're going to select the background image. I'm going to go with this image right here and click on select. So there we have our background image. Now what we need to do is to come to under this style section, we're going to scroll down, and our position is going to be center, and we're going to change our display size to cover. What we're going to do now to ensure our text is readable, since we are using a transparent background, is to come to background overlay, and we're going to select gradients, and right here I'm going to click on the first color and I'm going to choose black. Then for the second color, I'm going to reduce the opacity down to 0, and what I'm going to do is to increase the opacity for this black color that we selected. What I'm going to do is to drag this opacity slider up to 1. So this is all about the container for our hero section. Now let's start with the main heading. To add an heading, we're going to come here to click on this add element button, and we're going to drag in this heading widget. Alright, so we're going to add our clear value proposition right now. We're going to come back to the landing page I built earlier, and I'm going to copy this text. I'm going to come back to my landing page, and I'm going to paste the text right here. So what I want to do now is to come to style. Another alignment, we're going to center it. And for the color, we're going to change the color to white. And actually, I have selected some global colors to use on these websites. If you want to learn how to create a global colors and font for your website, I'm going to link a video up in the card above and down in the description below to follow along with that tutorial. Alright, I'm going to select the global color that I have here. I'm going to choose white. And under typography, we're going to be using Inter for this website. So I'm going to put in Inter. And the font size is going to be 80 pixels on desktop, and the letter spacing is going to be -3.5. So let's just work on the desktop, tablet and mobile version at once. So we're going to come to tablets, and under typography we're going to change this to 60 pixels, and the letter spacing is going to be -3.5. And for mobile, we're going to change this to 50 pixels, and the letter spacing is going to be -3. One last thing, we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to come back to tablets. For the tablet version, we're going to change the width to about 80%. So we click on this default button, and then we select custom, and we change this from pixels to percentage, and we put in 80. All right, and the same thing is going to apply for mobile. We're going to leave it at 80%. So this is going to create like a natural padding so that the text does not hit the edges of the screen. So that is why I'm adding the custom width to these heading widgets that we have here. And lastly, we need to come back to content. I'm going to change the HTML tag from H2 to H1. And that is all about this hero section heading. So we're going to come back to our desktop view. I'm going to add a subheading. The subheading is the text that's going to support our heading. So we're going to drag in the text editor. And like we did for this heading, we're going to come to style, and we're going to center it. Alright, so for the color also, we're going to change the color to white. I'm going to come to typography. We're going to also change the font to Inter, and the size is going to be 17 pixels. Let's just copy the text we're going to be using. We're going to come back to our first hero to our landing page, and then we're going to copy the text right here. and I'm going to come back here to paste the text under contents. Come back to style, and we'll continue styling this subheading. Alright, so under typography, we're going to change our letter spacing to -0.5. Alright, and we're going to control the width of this subheading. So we're going to come to advanced, and under desktop, we're going to change it to custom and change this to percentage, and we're going to put it as 50%. And tablet is going to be, let's use percentage, and we're going to put in 70%. Alright, so the same thing is going to apply for mobile. Alright, so this is going to keep the reading line short and professional rather than stretching through the across the whole monitor. We're going to move on to the next step, which is the call to action button. To do that, we're going to click on this plus icon, and we're going to drag in the button. So this button is going to be our CTA, our call to action. This is the action we want them to take on our website. And what action did we choose on the landing page? We said get a free estimate. So I'm going to copy that text. Let me see whether I can copy this text. I can't. Let me just type that real quick. And before we come to style, other contents, you're going to link your button at this point. So whatever you want this button to go to, you're going to put the link right here. Another style, we're going to come to style. We're going to center the button, and we're going to change our color. Under the background type, we're going to change the color right here to this my accent color, and we're going to come to border radius and add 5 pixels all around to make it rounded. And the next thing we're going to do is to add padding. So we first of all unlink all these values, and we add our own custom padding. For the top and bottom, we're going to use 20 pixels, and for the left and right, we're going to use 50 pixels. Alright, so this is looking good. The last thing we just need to do is to work on the typography. We're going to come to typography, and we're going to change the font to Inter. Sorry, we're going to use Inter, and the font size is going to be 15 pixels, and the letter spacing is going to be -0.5, and we're going to use this across all devices. Alright, this looks good across all devices, desktop, mobile, and tablets. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to move on to the next section. So next thing, we're going to add a trust bar as the next section, so that we can gain a little bit of trust through the companies that this fictional company has worked with. Alright, so what we want to do is to add a new container, and we're going to choose the flex box, and we're going to go with this first option. Alright, that says vertical. So what I want to do now is to come to padding, and we're going to unlink all these values and add about 50 to the top, and also add 50 to the bottom. So this is going to keep the section compact because we don't want it to distract the main hero. We just want it to support the hero section. Alright, so next we want to do now is to add a widget. We're going to add our text editor, and this text that we have here says trusted homeowners in Ibadan. So we're going to change that Ibadan to something you can relate with. So we're going to change it to, let's say, Texas. So we're going to come to style. Another style, we're going to center these texts, and we're going to change the color to, we're going to change it to this text color that I have here. Alright, so the next thing we're also going to do is to come to typography, and we're going to change the font to Inter, and the font size is going to be 17 pixels, and the letter spacing is also going to be -0.5. So this style is going to remain the same across all devices. We do not need to change anything. So we're going to come back to desktop, and what I want to do is to add a container, and that container is going to create a row for our logos. So what we're going to do now is to come here to click on these add elements, and we're going to drag in container. And for this container, we want to select this first option that says row horizontal, and under the layout, we want to justify this content to the center, and we're going to unlink these gaps, and we're going to set about 20 pixels for this, and we're going to leave this one at 0 pixels to keep them tight. So what I want to do now is to come here to click on this add elements, and we're going to drag in our first image. Alright, so this image is going to serve as our brand logo, and I already created a precise logo of about 200 pixels by 200 pixels in Photoshop. That is going to be the size of my logo. Now what I need to do is to come here to choose image, and I'm going to choose my first logo. Let's go with the Guardian. Alright, and what we need to do is to come to style, and under style we're going to set the opacity to about 0.6, and under CSS filter we're going to drag the saturation down to 0. Alright, and I'm just going to duplicate this, and I can just replace the logo. Let me choose my own personal logo, then duplicate, and I'm going to choose another logo that I have here. We're going to go with Omnisend. And lastly, okay, we can still do, how many do we have here? We have 4. Okay, let's make this the last one. We're going to go with Founders Corner. So we have our 4 logos right here, and what we're going to do now is to switch to the mobile version to see whether it is responsive. Let's come to tablet version and mobile version. All right, for the mobile version, we're going to do something to make it responsive. All we need to do is to set the custom width for each of these logos to force 2 logos on a row. How we're going to do that is we're going to click on edit image. Another advanced, we're going to come down here to custom, and we're going to put in 40 pixels. All right, we're going to change it to percentage, and we're going to use 40. We're going to use 40. So let me just click on copy and paste style. Let's see whether okay that works. We're going to paste style and also going to paste style. All right, so this one is perfect as it is. So by setting this to 40%, we can fit 2 logos side by side on a mobile phone instead of stacking all of them all together vertically. So we're going to come back to tablet version, and what I can just do is to click on this and let's align this to the center. I can think we need to do that for the whole section itself. Click on center, and this is going to align to the center, and desktop is also looking good. So this is how we can quickly create a trust bar where we can add the logos of the companies we've worked together to prove to people that we actually know what we are doing. So the next section we're going to be creating is the services section, and if we look at what we have here, we have the text that says our expertise. So we're going to copy this text, and we're going to come here, we're going to click add new, we're going to click on this button that says add new container, and we're going to choose Flexbox. For this, we're going to go with the first option also. Alright, so what I want to do now with this section is that I want to stand out from the white background that we have above it. So the first thing we need to do is to come to style, another background. We're going to use one off-white color that I have with a off-white background, which is F4, F4, F4. That is the color code for the off-white color that I'm going to be using. So we're going to come back to layouts. Another layout, we're going to set our direction to vertical as it is, and let's align this the item inside this container to the center. So let's come to advanced, and we're going to unlink the values for padding, and we're going to add 100 to the top and also 100 to the bottom. Now let's move on. We're going to add our title. Click on add elements, and we're going to drag in the title heading, and we're going to paste what I copied earlier here that says our expertise. Alright, we're going to come to style, we're going to center this to the middle, and we're going to come to typography. We're going to change the font family to Inter, and then the font size is going to be 60 pixels. We're going to use 60 pixels on desktop and tablets. And let's come to letter spacing. For the letter spacing, we're going to go with -3.5 as usual. We're going to go with -3.5, and let's move to tablet. We're going to leave this one as it is on tablet, and mobile version we're going to change the font size. We're going to use, let's go with 45 for mobile. All right, and the letter spacing, let's still leave the letter spacing as it is, and we're going to come back to desktop. I think we used the same font color right here. Let me just double check. For the fonts, we're going to come to text color, and we're going to use our primary color. All right, the primary color for this website is 212121. That is the color code in case you want to use that for your web design project also. So the next thing we're going to do is to add our subheading. We're going to copy this subheading, and we're going to drag in our subheading widgets right here, and I'm going to replace the text. All right, so we're going to come back to style, and I think we can just do something. We can just copy this and paste this style right here. All right, so the last thing we just need to do is to come to advanced. Another advanced, we're going to apply the custom width of about 70%. So like I said, I'm going to be applying this custom width so that we can keep the text block easy to read. Okay, so let's check whether it's responsive across all devices. The next thing we want to do now is to create this grid. To create this grid, we're going to add a new container. So to add a new container, we're going to click on this add element, and we're going to drag in a container, and then we're going to drag in another container inside this container that is going to serve as our cart. So to do that, we're going to just need to come back here to drag another container inside this container. So the next thing we need to do is to style this card. What we need to do is to come to style. Under style, we're going to come to background and we're going to choose white. So let me just select white. All right. And then we're going to also add an image. We're going to add an image, and we're going to also add a text. So we're going to put in heading, and we're also going to add a text editor. All right, so there we have that. What we're going to do now is to click on this container that is going to be holding our card, and we're going to come to border. So we want to add a border radius of 20 pixels all through to make the edges rounded. What we also need to do is to come back to layouts, and we're going to unlink these values. All right, so for the row gap, we're going to set it to 20 pixels. We're going to set that to 20 pixels. We're going to add a padding to this widget that we have here. So to add a padding, we're going to come to advanced, and under this section, we're going to add 20 pixels all around. All right, so moving on to the image, we're also going to come to style, and we're going to add 20 pixels all around to the image, and we can just select one of the images we have on our website. So let me go with this, and we're going to click on select. So we're going to move on to the heading. This heading is going to change to H3. The HTML tag is going to change to H3, and we're going to come to style. The typography is also going to be Hinsa, and the font size is going to be 30 pixels. Right, font size is going to be 30 pixels, and the letter spacing is going to be -1.5. -1.5. So let me copy the text that we have here. It says modern kitchens. We're going to come to content, and I'm going to replace the text with that. All right, for the description, we're also going to come to typography under style, and I'm going to change this to Hinter, and also add about 15 pixels with -0.5. And let me just change the text color to text, and for this one, let me change the text color to primary. All right, so what we can now do is to let me put in the real text. Let's copy this text right here, and we're going to come back here to paste. So we're going to replace the text. So now that we have created our first card, what we need to do is to come here to click on this, to right click on this edit container, and we're going to duplicate this card. So we're going to duplicate it for the first time, and also we're going to duplicate it one last time, and then we're going to come to the main container that is holding our cards, and we're going to change that to row horizontal. So there we have our cards right here. So if we should expand, we see that this is looking beautiful already. This is the same exact thing that we have at this section. One thing I just need to do for this section, we can just come to layout, and this row, we can remove row. Let's set it to about 10, and let's put it at 20. But for this text, let's do something. Let's come to advanced and unlink these values, and for this top, we're going to give it about -15. So we're going to copy the style, paste the style right here, and also we're going to paste the style here. So I think this looks good. And if you feel it's too close to this text, what you can just do is come back here again, probably reduce it and make it -10, and also copy the style, paste the style here, and also paste the style right here. So there we have our expertise section. One thing we just need to do is to confirm whether it is responsive across all devices. So what we need to do is to come here to the tablet section. Okay, the tablet section is looking good, but we can still make it look better. And to do that, what we need to do is very simple. Select the main container that is holding all the cards together, and then we're going to come to container layout and change this to grid. All right, so first of all, let's come back to desktop, and under desktop, we're going to make this 3 columns, and then we're going to make this 1 row. And for the tablet version, we're going to select this third container, and what we want to do is to come to advanced, and under column span, we're going to change this to 2, and for the row span, we're going to leave it as 1 or whatever that we want to set it, so we can just put it back at default. And for the third card, we're going to select this align self and select stretch. Then we come back to the main container that is holding all these cards together by selecting the content. And to make it easy, we can just come here to our structure, and then we can select the grid, and under columns, we're going to make it 2, and we're going to leave this as 1. All right, so this is going to be a cool design for our tablet version. We're going to have 2 cards above and then 1 large card below. But for the mobile version, we're going to have 1 colon, and then we're going to have let's say we're going to have about 3 rows, and what we can just do is to come here to the third container, and under advanced we're going to come to column gap, and then we're going to change this back to 1, and this looks good on mobile screen. And what we can just do is to come back to layout for the grid, and then we can just cancel this option that we input earlier on. All right, so this is how you can create a cool looking card for your landing page. The next thing we're going to be creating on this landing page is going to be the About Us section, and we want this to be a split screen design that views the viewport of the particular device that this website is being viewed on. So how do we create that? We come back to our Elementor editor, and we're going to add in a container. We're going to go with this third structure, and for the minimum height we're going to change this to 100 viewport heights. So this is what ensures that the section always looks impressive no matter the screen size. So the left container is what is going to have all our content, while the right container is going to be for the image. So let's start with the left container. For the left container we have the heading, we have the subheading, and we have the button. So let's come back here and click on add elements. We're going to drag in heading, we're going to come back to add elements, drag in our subheading, and okay, one thing we need to do. Okay, I might have made a mistake myself. Let's come back and add the text widget right here. Okay, that was a mistake from my hand. And lastly, we're going to add in a button. All right, so for this first container we're going to click on edit, and we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to add 100 all through. Okay, let's add 120. Let's further make it, let's add 120 pixels all through. All right, and we're going to come back to layout, and under justify content we're going to justify this to center. For this button also, we can even delete this button, and we're going to come back here. Since we're going to be using the same style, let's just copy the button that we have here and let's paste that right here instead. And we're just going to come to style, and we're going to position the button to the left. So let's start styling this section. We're going to start with the heading. For the heading we're going to come to style, and under typography we're going to choose enter, and the font size is going to be 50 pixels, while the letter spacing is going to be -3.5. So let's come back to our demo landing page and copy this text, and we're going to come to heading, and we're going to replace the text. Come back to style, and we're going to come to text color, and we're going to choose primary. And the other thing we can do for this is to edit the tablet version. So let's come to tablet version, and we're going to change this to 42 instead. So we're going to use 42 for tablets. We're going to use 45 for tablets, and for mobile we're going to use 42. All right, so let's adjust the padding for this container to make it look good on tablet version and on mobile version. So come to edit the left container, and under advanced we're going to change the values. So we're going to unlink this, and for tablets we're just going to have 30 to the right, and we're going to have 30 to the left. And for mobile is going to be a little bit different. For mobile we're going to add 50 to the top, we're going to add 20 to the right, we're going to add 30 to the bottom, and we're going to add 20 to the left. So this looks good on the mobile version. So let's come back to desktop, and let's replace the text for the subheading also. We're going to copy the text, and we're going to come down here to paste the text. All right, and we're going to come to style. Another style for the typography, we're going to use enter. The font size is going to be 16, and the letter spacing is going to be -0.5. And one last thing, for mobile we're just going to change this to 15 pixels. So let's return back to the desktop version, and let's continue to design this website. So for the button we're going to change the content to learn our process. And that is all for this left container. Now moving on to the right container, and this is going to contain our visual, which is the image that we're going to be using. So we're going to click on edit container, and we're going to come to style. Under style we're going to come to classic, and we're going to choose an image. Okay, so all we need to do now is to come to position, choose these options, center, and the display size is going to be cover. Now let's see how it looks like on tablet version. For tablet version we can just come to the edit container, the main container, and we're going to change the view height to 70. And let's come to mobile version. For mobile version we can just change the view port height of this image only, the second container that contains the image. We're going to come to layouts, and we're going to come to minimum height, change this to viewport height, and let's use 85. This is how you can design this section with Elementor free version. Now let's move on to the next section, and the next section is going to be our recent transformation, which serves as a gallery, or you can call it a portfolio. So for this section, what we can just do is to come here, click on the plus icon, click on Flexbox, and we're going to choose this first option. All right, the first thing we need to do is to come to style, and under style we're going to come to background type, and we're going to change the background type to off-white, which is F4. What we're going to do now is to just start designing. We're going to start with the text. For the text, we're going to just add elements, and we're going to add heading, and the text says recent transformations. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste the text right here. It says recent transformations. Now for style, we're going to come to heading, and we're going to change this font family to Inter, and the size is going to be about 60 pixels, and the letter spacing is going to be -3.5. all right, -3.5. And let's add padding to the main container itself. We're going to click on edit container, and we're going to come to advanced. Another advanced, we're going to add 100 all through for the desktop, and for the tablet we're going to edit that slightly. We're going to add in 100 to the top, we're going to add in 100 to the bottom, we're going to add in 20 to the right and 20 to the left. And for mobile, that is also going to change. We're going to add in 10, and we're going to add in 10 to the left, also 10 to the right, 10 to the left. We're going to add in 100 to the bottom, and we're going to add in 100 to the top. All right, and the font size for the heading is going to change when it comes to the mobile version also. So we're going to come to typography, and for the mobile size, this is just going to be 45. This is going to be 45. And let's come back to tablets. Let's come back to tablet version, and for tablet version, we can just leave this one also as it is. We can come to custom and come to custom width, and we're going to just use 90. We're going to use 90. And let's come back to tablet. Let's come back to desktop rather. We're going to come back to desktop, and we're going to continue with this landing page. We're going to copy the text, and we're going to come here to add elements, and we're going to add the text editor elements, and I'm going to just replace the text right there. Come to style, and for the text color we're going to go with text, and the font family is going to be Inter, and the font size is going to be 17 pixels, while we're going to make the letter spacing -0.5. Now we're going to advanced. Another advanced, for the weight is going to be custom, and this is going to be 70%, while for mobile we're going to change that. For mobile is going to return back to 100%. And one last thing we can do is to come back to desktop, and for margin we're going to unlink this value, and we're going to add in 40 to the bottom, so that it can further push down the images that we're going to be adding in the next step. Now to the image, we're going to come back to add a new element, and we're going to add in a container. Now inside this container we're going to add in 2 images. So we're going to come back here to add elements. We're going to add the first image. So let's work on the first image before we duplicate and then work on the second image. So for the first image, let's choose one picture that we can use right here. So let's go with this first image. All right, so what we're going to do now for this image is to come to advanced, and under advanced we're going to change the width to custom, and we're going to use 70%. We're going to use 70%. Now we're going to come to style, and under height we're going to put in 400 pixels. That is for desktop, and for mobile we're going to use 200 pixels. And one thing we need to also do is to come to object fit. Before we edit it for the mobile, let's just go to desktop and let's edit the object fit from that aspect. For object fit, we're going to use cover, and we're going to just scroll down, and we're going to put in a border radius. We're going to add in 10 pixels all around. All right, so we've added 10 pixels all around. The next thing we need to do, as you can see, once you hover on this, the image is going to scale. So we're going to come back here, and we're going to come to advanced. Another advanced, we're going to scroll down to transform. Another transform, we're going to move to hover. Another hover, we're going to come to scale, and we're going to put in this exact number right here, 1.035. all right, 1.035, and then we're going to, that's how we're going to edit this section. So now what we need to do is to just duplicate this image, right click and click on duplicate. One thing we just need to do is to come to advanced. Another custom width, we're going to make this 30%, so everything is just going to be 100% in total. So we're going to come to the main container, and we're going to change the direction to horizontal, and there you have it. This is the first section on this landing page that we've just recreated. Now, what we're going to do now is very simple. Before we move on, let's come to advanced, and we're going to remove all the paddings so that everything is going to touch the edge of the container. All right. And the last thing we just need to do, the next thing we need to do rather to create this next step is to just right click on this and duplicate the container. All right. So one next step we're going to do is to just right click on any image and duplicate that also. And we're going to just edit each image, come to advanced, and we're going to make this 100%. Come to this one. We can just copy the first image and apply the style, and also apply the style, and there we have it. So let's just edit the image to make it look a little bit different. Come to content, and let's choose this one. And for the next one, for the next image, we're going to choose the second one. And for this one also, let's choose this one, and let's just make this one different too. Come to content, and let's go with this. So as you can see, this is looking good on desktop device. Now let's move to the mobile device. Let's start with the tablet device and see whether it is looking good from there before we move to the mobile device. So for the tablet device, this is okay for the tablet device also. Let's move to mobile. All right, there's a little bit of changes that we need to do on the mobile version. So starting with the first section that contains the first two images, we're going to click on this pencil icon, and we're going to come to advanced. Another advanced, we're going to change this to percent, and we're going to use 48%. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it for the second image, and we're going to click on paste. We're going to click on paste style. Okay, and then we're going to click on the container, come to layout, and let's come to these gaps. Under gaps, we're going to unlink this value, and we're going to put in 10 to the column. All right, so there we have it. The first section is looking good on mobile. And for this next one, we do not want everything to be on each stack. We just want two images to be side by side like this first one, and then the last image can then take up the full width right here. So how do we do that? It is very simple. So for the first image, we're going to make this 48%. When it comes to the width, we're going to make it 48%. Then we're going to copy this and paste the style for the second image. Just come to this container, to edit container. We're going to unlink these values. So now we can just add 10 colon, and we're going to add 10 to the row. And this is looking better on the mobile display. And one thing we can just do is to click on this edit heading, and we're going to come to width, and we're going to just make it 100% for the whole custom width. And we are done with this section. The next thing we need to design is to design the testimonial section. So we're going to come back to our desktop view. So for the testimonial, we're going to scroll down and add a new section. So we want to go with this first option right here. All right, and we're going to come to align items. We're going to center this container, and we're going to start dragging in widgets. And before we do that, let's do one more thing just to be sure. Let's come to style, and under background type, we're going to use white. We're going to use plain white this time around. And let's work on the padding also. For the padding, on desktop, we're just going to add 100 to the top, and for the bottom, we're going to add 100 to the bottom. And for mobile, let's just move to mobile. For mobile, we're going to be adding 100 to the top, and then we're going to add 20 to the right, we're going to add 20 to the left, and we're going to add 100 to the bottom. So let's come back to desktop and let's start designing. First and first, we need to copy this text. We need to start with this text. We might not necessarily copy it right now. Let's just come back here to add a new element and drag in the heading elements. And we can just right click on this, and we're going to click on copy. Then we can just come right here to paste style, and we're going to edit this pencil icon, come to style, and color to, we're going to change it to primary. And I think I should do that for this one also. Come to style and change the font color to primary. All right, so the next thing we're going to be doing is to add this subheading, and we can also use this subheading that we have right here. We're going to click on copy, and then we're going to come down here to paste. Then come to style, another style, we're going to align this to the center, and let's replace the text. For this, we said trusted homeowners in Ibadan. You can replace it with your city, but this is the city which I reside in Nigeria. And we're going to come to content, and we're going to paste that here. For the next one, we're going to copy the text that says don't just take our word for it. and we're going to replace it with this text. Come down here and Control C. Oops, sorry. We're going to copy the text alone, and we're going to come down here to paste. So this is looking good so far. Let's just see whether it is responsive across all devices. We're going to come to tablets, and under tablets we're going to edit this heading, come to style, and we're going to center. And let's see, we're going to come to mobile, and mobile also we're going to center. Let's just center everything from the desktop. All right, so this is looking good so far. We can move on to the next thing. For the next one, we're going to add another container that is going to have all these testimonials inside. So to do that, we're going to come here to add elements and add a new container. And inside this container, we're going to come down here to search for an element called testimonial. And we're going to drag in the testimonial inside the container we just added. Okay, so if we look at this one, we remove the image, and let's just start. Let's start. First thing we need to do is to edit the container itself. And for this, we're going to justify the content to center. We're going to justify this content to center, and let's make this row horizontal. All right, for the testimonial card, we want to edit this testimonial card, and let's start by giving it a padding. So we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to give it 40 all round. We're going to give it 40 all round, and let's edit the text also. For the text, we're going to come to content, and we're going to copy one of the reviews that we have here. We're going to copy the review and come right here to paste. So we've pasted the review right there. We can just style the text itself. So for the text color, we're going to go with text, and the typography, as usual, we're going to go with Inter. And the font size is going to be 17 pixel. Under style, we're going to choose this option, and the letter spacing is going to be -0.5. So let's come to content. Another content, we want to remove the image. We do not want to use image, and every other thing is okay as it is. We can just come back to style, and under name we can change the typography for the name also to Inter, and the title, we're also going to change the typography to Inter. And we're not going to touch any other thing under this section. We're just going to keep it very simple. What we can just do is to now duplicate this into 3. And before we move on, I should have done this before duplicating. Before we move on, let's add a little bit of border to this testimonial to distinguish it from the background. As you can see, we have a white background. Let's just add a little bit of border to this testimonial section. So to do that, what we're just going to do is to come to style. Now we're going to come to advanced rather. Another advanced, we're going to scroll down to border, and right here we want to choose solid, and we're going to give it 1. We can also give it a border radius of 10, and for the border color, we're going to use let's just use something else. Let's use E0. Let's see how it looks. Okay, this looks good. We can just copy this instead, and we can copy this and paste style, or we can also paste the style on this last one. All right, so this is looking good. Let's see. Okay, all right, this is looking okay. What we can just do, what I noticed now that we can just do, I feel the space between the heading and the reviews, the space is too much. We can then come to this text. Remember that we added the margin to the bottom. We can then reduce the margin by 20. So I think that's one thing we can fix in this new version. And let's see how it looks like on tablets. On tablets, we're going to make a change. So what I'm going to do is to come here to this container. We're going to change this container to a grid, and for this last option, we're going to come to colon span and select 2. We're going to come back to content. We're going to go back to the main container, and we're going to come to colons, and we're going to choose 2 colon, and yep, this is okay. We can just say 1. So by the time we view this is how it's going to look like. All right, and we're going to look at the mobile version to see how that looks. For mobile version, we're going to change this to 1 and also 1, and we're going to come down. Let's come down to this last one, and we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to change this back to 1. So this is going to look good on mobile also. So It looks good on tablet, it looks good on mobile, and it looks good on desktop. As for the desktop, there's one more thing we need to do. We're going to change this to 1. Sorry, we're going to change this to 1. All right, so that's how you can create your testimonial section for this landing page. Moving on, which is the last section, the call to action. Let's see how we can design that with Elementor. This is simple. All we need to do is to add a new container, and we're going to go with the first option. And this time around, we're going to be doing something different. For the container, let's come down to padding, and we're going to add 100 to the top, and we're going to add 100 to the bottom. Then we'll come to style, and we're going to choose the color. We're going to go with the global dark color that we've been using. And we'll come to background overlay, and we're going to pick an image to use as our background overlay. Let's go with this first option, and we can come to position and click on center. Then display size is going to be cover, and our opacity is going to just be 0.15. Just add 1 before the 5. And yep, let's add our text. So for the text, we have ready to build your dream home, schedule a free consultation today. I think we can just use this. Let's copy this, and we're going to paste this here. We are going to copy the next one also, and we can paste this text right here. Then we're going to come back to the top, to the very top, to copy this button and scroll down to paste. So what we can just do is to edit the container and come to layouts, and we can just align everything to the center, and we can change the color for all these fonts. So for the text, we're going to change this to white. For this one also, the color is going to change to white, and there you have your container. Let's just see how it looks like in desktop and in mobile and in tablet. So moving on to tablets, it looks good on tablets, and on mobile it also looks good. What we can do is to edit container, come to advanced, and we can just add a little bit of padding to the right and left, then return the 100 padding to the top and the 100 padding to the bottom. And there you have it. We can click on publish changes, and let's view the new landing page that we just designed in this tutorial. So there we have it. We have our heading, we have our arrow heading, we have our subheading, and we have the button right here. We have our trusted partners, which are with their logos right here, and we have our expertise, which shows the type of service we render, and we have about us that shows you what the company do and how we are good at what we do. And the next section is the portfolio with some images to show you the real life project that we've embarked on. And then we have the reviews from our top customers that gave us good reviews. And lastly, we have the call to action to bring you back to the main goal of this landing page, to do what? To hire us for the renovation of your home. So this is how you can just, and before we move on, let's remove the padding, the margin under this text completely. Come to advanced, and we can just remove everything completely. Come to desktop also, let's just remove everything at this point and click on publish. So with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you learned something at any point in this tutorial, kindly leave a like on this video, and also comment for more videos like this, because I'm going to be locking in this year and giving out free tutorials to you guys. And if you have any question, any suggestion, anything I might have missed, anything you want to tell me that will make my workflow better, just leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reach out and reply your comments. And in case you do not have time to to put in all this work to creating this landing page, and you want me to do it for you, you can reach out to me through my email in the description, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. My name is Eben, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.